Welcome to Speak Up Queen, the podcast where we empower and uplift one another. This is a safe space where women who were once silenced are now unstoppable. Together we rise by sharing our truth, owning our worth, and leading with purpose. Let's speak up, heal out loud, and roar forward because your voice matters here. Today on Speak Up Queen, we're welcoming a woman whose words are not just written, they are lived. Raven, the serial poet, is a seasoned poet with a gift for turning pain into poetry and truth into transformation. She doesn't just write, she embodies every line she speaks. Her work is raw, real, and rooted in healing. Raven is here to share her journey as a co-author in Women Who Roar and how her voice, once quieted, now now, flowers with purpose and power. Queen, this is more than poetry. This is reckoning, a reclaiming, and a reminder that our stories are sacred. Welcome to the Mike Raven. You are seen, you are heard, and we are honored.
Thank you for having me and thank you for this opportunity. I'm so excited.
Raven, can you tell us what inspired you to share your story in Women Who Roar?
Well, I feel as though the story that I have to tell not every woman has been through, but I feel as though a vast majority has either went through or has come near to going through it. And I feel as though it's important to give a voice to the voiceless that may not be feeling comfortable otherwise to share their story.
Amazing. How did writing your chapter help you heal or transform something within yourself?
Well, first off, writing my chapter in the book took more than a notion because it, even though I tell my story through poetry all the time, just flat out reliving moments, having to tap into that part of myself that I had blocked off. It was very empowering because I was revisiting some emotions that I had not revisited before. Into writing it, it was very important to me because I'm like, if somebody could get some type of healing from just me saying something small to me, but it might be used to them, I'm like, who am I to not share that gift with someone that could be beneficial to them?
And it is just amazing that when we are reliving those parts of us, how
Yeah,
healed and how much we have grown since that happened. It is just amazing to see that personal growth and to know that it's not, we don't need to be scared anymore. We are now in a place where we are not silenced anymore. And this is what this book is all about, is just all these amazing queens coming together and sharing a part of their story for other women. So yeah, I'm so excited to read your story also. What do you hope women will take away from reading your story?
well, what I hope that they take away from reading my story, honestly, is that the tragedy is not the end. The tragedy actually leads to so many testimonies, so many blessings, if you allow it to. For a long time, I used to just be like, oh, I'm just so mad at everybody. I was just in a rage. And I hope that women realize that it's normal. It's okay to feel it. Just don't sit in it. Don't sit in it. Don't let it consume you. Um, every woman, I feel as though, should have a journal. So when moments get too overpowering, you have to purge yourself. You have to purge yourself and get it out.
Absolutely. I was reading the book last night of Let Them from Mel Robbins. And then I was
Mhm.
like, she was talking about let them for overreacting adults or something like that. And I was like, I think I am not so emotional intelligent because I still get overwhelmed and I get rage and I get to vent. But then she was also telling us, she was also saying that that's an 8-year-old child that didn't know how to handle her emotions. And I told my husband, I'm like,
Yeah.
Hmm, I think I need to do some inner work again because I can feel it that I'm overwhelmed and burned out and I need to get away from this.
Yes.
And that's just the part, that's the beautiful part of healing. It's not like I said before, it's not a quick fix. It's messy. It is, but it's so worth it to learn parts of you that you didn't even know existed. So that is
Yes, and I always tell people to forgive themselves because sometimes we get in space where we let the person that I call the villain of our stories, we let them run over our stories, and then we're sitting here trying to figure out, okay, well, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. You just need to learn how to compartmentalize a lot of things, emotions, feelings. And if you don't do it all at once, it's okay. Give yourself grace, you know?
absolutely. Were there any fears or limiting beliefs you had to overcome in the writing process?
I had a lot of fears. I had a lot of fears because I was like, am I sharing too much? Am I not sharing enough? I'm the type of person that I am an open book for the most part, but I was like, with this story, I had to either go hard or go home, and I refused to go home without laying it all out on the table for somebody else to possibly pick up what it is that they need from me in my story.
Yes, absolutely. How has your voice changed since sharing your truth publicly?
My voice has changed a lot. Before, and people, that know me, they like, she's so quiet, she's so timid, but on the flip side, I am very vocal. So it's like by me telling this story, I had to change the way that I spoke, the way that I think about certain things. So it's like my voice changed to the point to where I said I'm gonna have to be more vocal. I am always the recluse. I am always inside of myself because I'm an introvert. And so it's like it's so easy for me to turn into myself like a little turtle.
Yep.
But in this instance, I have to be just bold and just get it out. So, somebody else could be like, well, if she could do it, I could do it.
I love it. I love it that I know exactly where the introvert part come and like I said to my husband, I can be on my own for days. I don't need anyone to
Mm,
entertain me. I love myself. I love doing things on. And he's like, yeah, I know. And then I'm like, then we have to be also for the voiceless. I mean, that's why our Speak Up Queen was born, was for my 17-year-old who was silenced. For that
yeah,
that little girl that was just trying to share her story and she was just said, you asked for it, no one will believe you, and it was all your fault. And that really
yeah,
silenced me for such a long time. So now we are on this amazing part of this journey, sharing it in a book, women coming together all around the world, sharing it in a book where we are just sharing our
exactly.
stories to inspire other women, especially to the women who's listening today. This book is raw. It is about how we had to have the courage to change, had to overcome some difficult obstacles, but it's also here to motivate and inspire you that if we can do it, oh, queens, you can do it too. There is no excuse
Exactly.
not to start.
Yes, absolutely. Be intentional with yourself. That's the only way to heal.
Why do you believe women's stories, especially those who've been silenced, are so powerful?
I think it's powerful because the villain of our stories they thought that we would just revert into ourselves, but like, well, they said, I've always heard people say, well, they said if I told anybody they would do this, if I told anybody they would do that. And so they always keep it. And then it eats away at them over the years until they either block it off or they end up lashing out in the wrong way. And I feel like, it's very powerful for anybody, as far as a woman is concerned, to share their story. I know too many women that's in jail right now because they held on to so much to the point to where by the time they even told anybody, or by the time it was a thought, they done put that energy and that power into somebody else that really didn't deserve it, but they had a flashback and they got the brunt of it, you know? So it's very important for people to tell their story as much as they can, whether it's to someone that is, you know, a mediator, a therapist, you know, I say a neutral party, or, you know, just like I said, write it out, get it out as much as you can.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I mean, when I was growing up, I was blocking out that feeling with alcohol, cigarettes, and sex. That was how I was handling it as a teenager. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, what happened was people judged me. No adult asked me, Marika, what happened to you? They instead just said, what's wrong with you? And that is such a thing that that generation or generations before us had hide away, that we were taught that what happens behind closed doors mustn't be shared. It
yeah,
must be it's your thing, you don't share. And when something is shown, everyone would look away. And for children, especially me as a 17-year-old, that was
yeah,
my cry for the world. And I think with this is we can now, if we can just, instead of judging other people for their actions, or rather ask, not ask what's wrong with them, ask what's happened. Why do they numb themselves? Why are they addicted to coffee, to gym? Because it can actually be healthy things also. It can be, you can be
yeah,
excessively eating correctly or exercising. It doesn't have to be bad habits like I have
yeah.
done. It can be. So there is so much things, but we must really, I hope really this message for to the women out there who is going through the storm or who has passed it, because sometimes we forget that we were once that person too. Sometimes we have healed parts of us and like, I would never do that. And then shh, just wait for a second. What did you do?
Hmm.
Like, oh, like my son is 12 years old and he's like, Mom, I want to know, what did you do? What did you do at school? I'm like, I will tell you the day that you're 18. When you are finished with school, I will tell you all the things that I've done. But
Exactly.
not now, because you will do some things and then you're going to say, but Mom did it. Why can't I do it? Like, when you're 18, I will tell you
Yes.
everything. But that's just,
They
that is
quick to say that, well, you did it, why can't you do it?
Oh my word! But that is just part of our story. And yes, if you, like Raven said, if you have someone, there is so many community. We've got so many communities of women out there, safe spaces. We
Hmm.
all of us are creating safe spaces for women who can have their voice, who can relate to people. Our stories is, everyone is different. We relive certain things different ways, but there is so many
Yes.
communities out there that you will never be alone. So whenever you're starting or you're feeling like you are in a place in your life where your emotions may be getting too overwhelmed or anything, just know that we are out there. We are creating this amazing book for you as a
Yes.
resource, not just as a book that you read and you leave, you read it once and you leave it in your bookshelf. It must be your resource. It must be a tool for you that whenever you feel overwhelmed, burned out, feel like giving up, you grab that book and you open it up. And the message, I truly believe, whenever I'm opening up my Bible, if I open it up on a certain thing, I'm like, Lord, give me the message that I need to hear today. And then when I open it up, I read something, I'm like, thank you, Lord. And this must be your resource. This book must be your resource
Yes.
for whenever you feel like that. Just read one of our stories, even if it's just two sentences. That can really, and I think that is why we are doing this, is because we we become the women our inner child would run to for protection. And that is why
Exactly.
we share these amazing stories. Yeah, definitely. What does the word roar mean to you personally in your healing or leadership journey?
Well, the word roar, I'm not gonna hold you. Every time I hear the word roar, I think of the song "I'm a Woman, Hear Me Roar." And so when I think about that, I think about the fact that, it's powerful, it's ferocious, it's intentional. Like the word itself has so much of a kick behind it to where you cannot help but to be like, okay, yeah, whoever that is roaring or whoever they are roaring, it's such an impact to where the whole world, it's like a roar heard around the world. And so it's like when I think of the word roar, I think about the fact that, yeah, people always think that it's the lion that's the most powerful one in the kingdom. It's really the lioness. So when we roar, people gonna take notice, most definitely.
Definitely. I mean, I think it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we watched Mufasa. And my husband like, did you know that the women go out hunting? And I'm like,
Yep.
what? I thought it was the big lion that does all the hunting, that does all the work. He's like, no, it's the women that do it. I'm like, wow. And that's the first, I mean, I'm almost 36 years old and I've never known it. I didn't,
Yeah.
it's just powerful, this roar and how we, this inner, this inner part or inner animal of us can be so powerful. Like, I just roar. How can this book be a tool for women who are still in survival mode or early in their healing?
I feel as though it could be the way that this book could be a tool is the fact that, if you're going about your day, and let's say, for instance, like if I'm not in the book and I pick it up and I want to read something about one of you ladies, or I just pick it up to a page and it says something impactful. If I haven't been through that, it's gonna make me proceed to read more to see what it is that I can get out of it. Um, I honestly feel as though a lot of things can be taken away from this book if people allow themselves to have an open mind. Because I notice a lot of people, when it deals with their trauma or when it deals with anything that's kind of hard to kind of bring to light, they close it immediately. They're like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to know that. Ignorant is bliss. And so a lot of people walking around blissfully ignorant. And I just feel as though, an open mind would
Mm,
heal a lot of hearts, you know, if they let it.
definitely, definitely. If a woman is afraid to speak up right now, what would you say to her from where you stand today?
Knowing everything that I know now, if a person was scared to speak up because they're going through something, of course I would tell them to do things in their own time. And because sometimes it's a lot. I always hear people victim shaming the victim, like, well, why didn't she leave? Why didn't she say anything? Why was this and why was that? And I honestly tell people, I'm like, unless you're going through it, it's no possible way that you can understand. But for the person or the woman that will come across the book, come across this interview, anything, I just want y'all to just know that there's a grace period. Do things in your own time. But when you feel as though things are taking a major turn for the worse, that would be the time to speak up, and not just to family or friends, but speak up to somebody that can help you get out.
Yeah, I must say that's something that I, as a child, I was hating my mom. I was hating her for so many years. Why didn't she just leave? I mean, it was for me as a
Mm-hmm.
child, it was for me so easy. Just leave it. But
Mm-hmm.
when I was 17, I actually went to her because the night before, um, we were told that we would be killed, and he was just kicking, and my mom was just really, she was going through the abuse. And the next day I went after school to her work, and I was like, Mom, are you tired of all of this abuse? And she said, yes, I am really tired, but I don't know how to leave. And that
Yeah.
was something like, whoa, okay. And I was like, okay. And I was walking to the social worker, and that's when I shared my story. But for so many years, I was blaming her for why didn't she protect us? But it was just like we are victims of victims. Like she didn't know how to, and that's that's things that we, as we are on this healing journey and we are getting resources, we learn that sometimes the dangerous time in a woman's life is when she's actually trying to leave. That's the time when
Yeah.
it's the dangerous time.
It's the
So,
most vulnerable area.
yes. So we must just be gentle and kind to one another, because sometimes a woman might smile and she might be positive, but she might also be struggling in silence. Um,
Yeah.
so we must just always remember to be gentle and kind to one another.
Exactly.
What's one truth you now live by that your younger self needed to hear?
One truth that I can honestly say that I live by now, and I always tell my daughter the same thing. I'm like, failure is one of those things that come along when you don't try. And a lot of people, it goes over a lot of people's heads. They're like, well, if you don't try, how do you feel? Because you didn't try. Like, how do you know if you will succeed if you don't try? And if you do fail after trying, then okay, still try again, because you might find a different way to tweak it. You might find a different way to do it. You might have a different way to say it. Because I know with me, my younger self was one of those. I'm gonna talk in third party. Um, she was one of those type of children that was very timid, very quiet. When was told to do something, did it without questioning. And the way that I was raised, it was one of those things where it was better to see you and not hear you. So if you had a quarrel or a concern, you had to sit in it. And that's just the way it was. But it's like now, by me being, as I call it, a recovering people pleaser, I have no problem telling somebody no.
Yeah.
Don't ask me. Don't know. I don't want to. Before I'm like, okay, sure. But like now I'm like, no, I don't know.
Definitely. And that's just that, like when you were speaking about about your younger self, it was me also. I think it's so many of us, we are like, especially if you're on this healing journey and you rip off these limiting beliefs and you set some boundaries. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That is where
People hate it.
that's when the magic happens for you. Unfortunately, it's uncomfortable for some people, for the ones that has abused your people pleasing skills. But
Hmm.
it is so worth it. It's really so worth it to set some healthy boundaries.
Exactly.
Well,
I
right.
think everybody should practice saying no. No
Yes,
is a end of a sentence, period.
yes. That is, and that is something that it was one of the hardest parts of starting my healing journey, was to say no. Just the word
Yeah.
no. It was the
Yes.
hardest part. It was not the easiest part of everything. It was the hardest part, saying, no, sorry, I
Yes.
can't. I don't like the way you talk to me. I'm done. I don't like the way you talk to me. I can't go to the party tonight. I've got things scheduled in. Or I
Yeah.
don't want to do things that is making me uncomfortable. So it's definitely one of the most amazing tools you need to have when you are on this
Hmm.
healing journey, is setting some boundaries. And your calendar
Yes.
can be your best friend. Like I schedule everything into my calendar. Like if someone asks for coffee, I'm like, Let me just quickly say, I've got 45 minutes here available. If you want to come and see me for 45 minutes, we can quickly schedule in some coffee. And my
Yes.
friends now respect that. Some of them don't respect it, and that's okay. But if that
Mhm.
is how life is. I am very, very I don't know what the English word is. My Afrikaans brain is now taking over. But my time is now precious on how I'm spending it. Like if you come to this peace place, this place where you're at peace, your time is valuable. You're like, I don't have time for this anymore. And that's just how we grow, and that's just amazing. That's just really, really amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Raven, thank you for sharing your journey, your wisdom, and your life with us today. Your voice is a
Thank you.
your voice is a healing force, and your story reminds us that even after deep pain, we can return home to ourselves. To every queen listening, your story matters, your healing matters, and your voice has the power to spark change in someone else's life. If this episode touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who needs it. Until next time, Queens, keep speaking up, keep rising, and always remember you were never broken. You were always becoming.